Hi guys, Tina here. So I'm here to do a tutorial using the Tim Holtz distress markers. I'm just going to show you how I color an image. Also, kind of my go-to colors of what I use for skin, hair, stuff like that. If you don't have the Tim Holtz distress markers and you have the Tim Holtz ink, you can also use this to color an image. So I'm going to also use some ink to show you how that works. You are going to need a water brush pen. Also, a tip for you, well, this is what I do. I don't usually put water in my water brush pen. I just dip it into some water that I have sitting here on my craft mat. That way I can control the amount of water I put on my image. So you want a good quality watercolor paper. I get this from Studio Calico. I stamped this Magnolia stamp. This is Tilda with hearts, or blowing hearts or something like that. I stamped her out using the archival jet black ink. So yeah, let's just get started. So for skin tones, I usually use Tattered Rose. So there's two sides to these markers. There's the brush tip and then the fine tip. I always use the brush tip because the fine tip is more for like writing. I do use it very, very rarely. So let's get started. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start where I want her face to be a little bit darker. So like up in here and down on the side of her cheeks. And you're also going to want a paper towel next to you so you can clean off your brush. So I'm just going to get a little bit of water here on my water brush. And I'm just going to kind of go in circular motions to bring out some of that color to where I don't have any color. And the fun thing about these markers is if you want her face to be darker, you just add more color on top of it. So there her face is colored, really super simple, and this tends to go really fast. I think it's a lot faster than coloring with Copic markers, but I do love my Copic markers, but this is a fun alternative. So then I'm going to go ahead and do her hands. And this might be a two-part video because I don't know how to edit. So I'm just going to go ahead and just bring some of that darker down to where there's no color. I just feel like if I have the water in my brush, I get way too much water and it just gets really saturated. But the good thing about this paper is it doesn't pill up or get the little balls. Like the paper I was using was from Walmart. I had just picked it up at Walmart, and I seemed to get lots of, you know, the paper getting into little balls. So there her hands are done as well. So really super simple. Like I said, if you want her skin to be darker, just add some more of the Tattered Rose onto it. So now we're going to go with her hair. You can do different, you can add two colors if you want for her hair. Usually I just do one color. If you want a darker brown, I go with Vintage Photo. A lighter brown would be tea dye. The other day, I don't know if I have the image here. I was messing around and I used Scattered Straw, I believe. So I got more of like a blonde look. But today I'm going to go with a darker look, so I'm going to use Vintage Photo. And I also have mixed two colors together. I used Wild Honey and Tea Dye one time, and that came out really cute. And I showed that card yesterday in my design team cards. If I have it sitting here, I'll grab it and show it to you when I'm done here. But I just go ahead and add where I want it to be darker. That's where I add my color. So I'm just going to add the color straight on to here, and then we'll blend it out. And I know you can get these markers. I think Michaels sells them. Hobby Lobby does. And I want to say Joann's. Okay, so there we have it colored up. So now I'm just going to put a little bit of water on my brush and then just kind of go in little circular motions to bring that color out to where I want it to be lighter. And then I'm going to kind of let it dry, and then we'll go back and blend it out a little bit better. And a little bit of water goes a long way. That's why I like to control the amount of water. So that's why I just usually dip my brush into the water. But you may find that you like it better putting water in your water brush. Okay. So now that that's kind of dry, I'm just going to go ahead and dip my brush into some water again, and then just bring out some more of that color to blend that out a little bit better. And I am going to do 2 coats on her hair. I'm going to go back and add some more color. Okay. So this is what we have so far, but I think I'm going to make her hair just a little bit darker. I do like how it looks, but I'm going to just add a little bit more color. And you don't have to, if you want just a little bit more, you can just put the marker on your craft mat and then just go ahead and pick it up with your water brush as well. Okay. I'm going to use my marker on this part just to bring this down a little bit further. And if you feel like you did get too much water on your image, just take your paper towel and just dab it right on there, and it'll pick it all up off there for you. And it does take some time to get used to these markers, but I love it. I love using these markers. And it is cheaper than the Copics, but these still are expensive. I think they are. But if you use a 40% off coupon at, you know, Hobby Lobby or whatever, and just buy a few at a time, it won't be as bad. So there we have her hair colored. And I did go out of the line a little bit up there on her hair. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to push it right, try to push it right back into the image. Okay. So I kind of fixed that there. So that's what we have so far. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, I'm actually going to move the camera over a little bit. I'm going to show you how I use the Distress ink. So I just go ahead and I just put some on my craft mat. You can see that. I just put some right on my craft mat. And then I just dip my brush into the water just to get it a little damp, and then just pick it up with my brush. And then just put your color on where you want it to be. Because I don't have this color in a marker, so I figured I would just use the ink pad. Sorry I'm so quiet. I usually have the TV, the radio, or I'm watching YouTube videos when I'm coloring images. So, and like I said, the more you go over it, the darker it's going to be. So I might go over this a couple times to get it a little darker and then blend it all out. So it does take a little bit longer with the ink pads, but if you don't have the markers and you have a lot of ink pads, you can try it this way. And I've had this image or this stamp for a long time and I have yet to use it, so I figured I would play around with it with the hair colors and everything. So now what I'm going to do is just get my brush just lightly damp, and then I'm just going to blend all this out. And like I said, good watercolor paper really makes a difference when you're using these distress markers or the distress ink when you're coloring an image. Okay. And it's still really wet, but that's okay. So there's her pants or her overalls. Okay, so I'm just going to clean up this mess, and since I'm at 12:31, I will come back with part 2. We'll finish up her shirt, the rest of her overalls, and her shoes and the hearts. Alright, see you guys in part 2. Thanks for watching. Bye.